Okay. So welcome to the session. We're going to talk today about our North Lancaster deployment. I'm joined here today by Chris Ranklers, who's our VP of Infrastructure and Network Infrastructure, and Michelle Lalonde, who is our VP of Construction and Operations. And we're here today to have a chat about what's going on in North Lancaster. And a lot of people don't know who Storm is, so we'll just do a quick recap on what does Storm do and who are we. We've been around for 25 years. We have offices in Perth, Chesterville, which is in SDNG, and also in Ottawa. Headquarters is in Ottawa. The picture there is a picture of our headquarters building. We have mostly high-speed internet in rural Ontario is what we're doing, but we do have some things in urban areas. We sell DSL and cable and fibers. We also do wireless internet all over the place, and that's our specialty. So you're about to see what we're doing for wireless internet in your neighborhood. We have local customer service. There are customer service reps that are in Chesterville, Perth, and Ottawa, and they take care of it. If you go look up our Google reviews, you'll find people love us for our customer service. This year we passed more than 10,000 customers, and we have both residential and commercial solutions. On the business side, we have lots of different things that we offer, all the way from DSL and bonded DSL, where you put a couple of DSLs together to get higher speeds. But we'll also do custom solutions. We'll do a lot of things for IT services. And we also have the ability to integrate Internet of Things, including cameras and sensors and things like that. About this project. So this project, the tower that you're hearing about or seeing if you go to the post office is our new tower. It's in North Lancaster, and we will be doing a second tower in Baynesville. And so what's happened is this tower is coming together, and you see there's a little red line that runs down to the tower in the south, and that tower is connected by a wireless link, which is new to us, but it's a licensed link between the two towers that will bring enough internet down there to support another 180, 200 people, maybe even more. Chris, maybe you want to comment on that.
Well, it'll be, yeah, we're looking at over 300 total, but the distribution of the towers can certainly handle 200 plus clients, so it's it'll be well handled.
And that's without adding any more radios. Our planned deployment is for upwards in that area. The thing about the kinds of radios we're using is if you can see the tower within 5 kilometers, the physics say that you should be able to get 10-1. That's 50-10. So that's 50 down and 10 up. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. And then 25-5, so 25 down and 5 up within a 10-kilometer radius. It's like magic sometimes. This came together because of the Center of Excellence for New Generation Networks and the Township of South Glengarry. South Glengarry approached the CENGN folks who put money into projects that look innovative to try and solve problems of municipalities. And so the municipality came to CENGN and asked for things. CENGN ran a competition. Storm won the competition for our design and our work on putting this together. And they liked the proposal that we'd put together for this. So CENGN is actually a sponsor of this. Storm is putting in a little more than half the money, and South Glengarry gave us the location where we're located beside the post office. We actually wanted to be on the other side, but there turns out there's a weeping bed there, and so we couldn't be over on the other side near the fields, the North Lancaster Park. We actually had to take the side that we were on, and then we had to move it a little away from the buildings. But so it's taken a couple of shots at getting the exact tower location, but now it's well underway, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through here.
So I have a question on the last chart that you had there.
Sure.
So the green circles, what's that distance there, like the radius?
That's 5 kilometers.
Okay, so it's very close to the edge of where the Quebec border is, and that's so if you really want to get 10 kilometers, you can go much further than that.
Yeah, so the little piece that is out, do you see my cursor there?
Yep.
That pie chart piece that goes out, that is 10 kilometers.
Okay.
So that area will get 25.5. And it's possible that we might do better than that, but that's what we know the radios are spec'd to do. This is our first deployment of this particular brand of model of radio. It's not unusual for us to keep upgrading equipment, and so this is something that's new for us, and that was part of the reason CENGN liked it, because it had a license link between the two, so we feed the second tower without having to have a fiber locally, and the fiber is actually going to be in North Lancaster feeding our tower. So that's what the ultimate design is supposed to be. So what it means for most people is
Birket, Danny raised his hand.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I had a question with regards to the line of sight. Is it a system that you have to have line of sight, or will it work if you're within the 4 or 5 kilometers?
Chris, that'd be over to you. Well, in general, wireless service is best handled when it's line of sight. There is some forgiveness, and you know, but it may not. If you don't have line of sight, it may not guarantee the 50 megabits down and the 10 megabits up. You may be at a reduced speed of 25.5 or something along those lines.
Okay.
So that gets qualified when the crews come up to survey your place and see what you need. Sometimes you need, you know, some people will need a tower to clear local trees. If you're completely treed in around your house, then it's going to be, you know, more difficult to get the clear signal that you would need to realize 50/10 speeds. But there's solutions to every problem.
And actually, it's interesting because I know that Michelle has put some stuff outside somebody's hedgerow and on a small post and pointed it down the road to catch a tower down the road. So I know that there are solutions, and just because you have trees doesn't mean that where the antenna goes has to be right there.
Well, in our case, it's not so much trees. It's we're 2 concessions over north of where the tower location is, and we're 4 kilometers away. But the way the land is laid out, it kind of goes down and then up a hill and down again. But our house is way up on a hill, but we have a hard signal anywhere.
Well, we're certainly
a survey will determine what we're capable of doing. I'm sure we can find a solution.
So,
and how tall is the tower once it's completed?
That's determined at survey time.
Yeah.
No, I mean the new tower.
You might not need a tower. You might need one. It's hard to say. It depends on trees and terrain are still those things that you have to deal with. So, you know, I'm sure the survey would determine what you would actually need in that case.
What I meant to say is, how tall is the tower that you guys are putting up in length? 200 feet. Okay, so that gives me an idea of how tall it's going to be. Okay.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant the tower that you might need at your home.
No.
Yeah, no, this is, So what this means is for all of us who decide to work from home because there's a pandemic going on, it's going to be better. For people who have kids who have to learn from home, it'll be better. If you've done stuff on social media, or you're doing stuff with FaceTime or any of the video conferencing, it'll all get better. And people love us for the fact that they can stream videos all day long. They can get their Netflix. And then the other thing that happens is you can even drop into township meetings now, because we actually did some of this presentation in a township meeting a while back, just to catch the township up on what had actually resulted from the RFP from CENGN, so that they'd actually know what was going on. So what do speeds mean? Because people always ask us, well, what do I need? And my answer is, it depends, which people hate. But the answer is, let's look at the top 3 things here. There's 3 of the video applications that people can have. So Zoom is the one that everybody knows the name of, thanks to a pandemic. But Google Meets has been around for a long time, and has more options than Zoom does, perhaps. And then Teams requires, which is a Microsoft product, requires 6 down and 3 up. Netflix, if you're watching regular Netflix, you're gonna need 3 down and 1 up. If you're watching 2, you need 6 down and 2 up. And a lot of people with DSL don't have that. And then 4K, which is the next generation TV. If you really pushed Netflix and said, I want to be in 4K, in theory, you need 16 megs down and 1 meg up. The good news is that Netflix realizes it doesn't have that bandwidth and deprecates your pixels so that you end up with 1080p again. Email, typically 3.1 works. YouTube requires between 3.5 and 8, depending on it, and 1 up for control. But what you need actually also depends on how many phones, how many tablets, how many TVs. Do you own a Nest? Do you own Ring, which is the new video doorbell? Do you have smartwatches, or Fitbits? All of those things want to talk to your internet all the time, and so you need to be aware that if you have a lot of them in your house, especially when the grandkids come, you may actually need more internet than you thought you needed. So that's all part of that. And Paul, you have a question?
Yeah, I do. Like right now, the internet service I have is unlimited in terms of gigabyte downloads per month. Is that the same with you? Is it unlimited?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on a future slide. We're getting there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Reading your mind. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. No problem. You're just ahead of us. So the construction's underway, and this is Michel Lalonde is responsible as our VP of Construction and Operations. You take care of this. I've made taken a few pictures of the site and put them into the slideshow. Just for those of you who haven't driven by the post office in the daytime, you might be interested to know that once upon a time we actually went and dug a hole, and then the next thing that happened was we filled it with some aggregate, and then this is the template that is used for the base. So you notice there's 3 corners on it because it's a Trilon tower. It has 3 posts that it's going to work from, and so that's right there in front of the post office, and that's with our little hole dug. Then we have the rebar goes in. And Michel, do you want to talk a little bit about rebar and how it fits into this? Or not? Okay.
I clicked the wrong button.
Oh,
so
okay.
What you're showing now is this has all been engineered for this particular type of tower. The whole depth was all calculated. So and this is just pictures of the progress.
Yeah, and there's where our generator pad went. The rebar kept growing. There was a conduit from the generator to the shack put in place for power. There was another one that's ready for Bell to bring their fiber in, and then there was concrete poured. Then there was more concrete poured. Then the tower arrived. The thing about this is a truck with just tower pieces on it, and they in fact forgot one skid. And this is what it looks like unloaded. It's just like you always wanted for Christmas. A Meccano set, some assembly required. Then the electricians came over and helped hook up the generator and get it all going while they finished off the hole. And then they started building the tower. So this is the tower build. It was happening on the grass. It's now happening on the snow. And the tower is 200 feet big. And there's the generator in place. There's the shed when it first arrived. There's the actual template now installed with the 4 bolts to hold down each corner. There's the shack itself beside there in the location where it's going to be when we hook up power and internet to it, which Michelle's doing, I think, shortly. So it contains our switch that helps the antennas talk to the internet. This is the large pieces of the tower. You notice that they're way bigger than the people. You have to have a ladder to be able to go up and do the bolts. And in fact, you get a real picture for how tall it is when you see somebody walking through it, and he's probably 6'1". So you can get an idea of how tall this really is. And that's the tower as of tonight. We have 1 section left to build for tomorrow. Anything else you want to mention on construction, Michelle?
Well, that was a good slideshow.
Okay. So the next thing is something that people don't always think about, but
Birket, Remy has raised his hand.
okay, let's take Remy's question. Remy, your question.
Oh, hi. I'm just wondering when it will be live. When is the tower
You're
ready?
3 slides away.
In a week? In
No,
days?
you're just a couple slides away.
already.
Remy.
Okay.
Just, we have to unveil this thing at one.
Okay, I'm
at a
about 1
time.
kilometer from the tower.
Okay. All right. Well, this is good. So one of the things that Storm does, which the economic development officers actually pay attention to, is we help with tourism. So B&Bs, which locate all over the place, agro-tourism. We do folk festivals. So if you've ever been to Kempville Live or you've been to Blues Fest, we provided the internet there. City folk, Shania Twain when she came to Ottawa, all those things are part of what we do. We also have done the Parch of St. Lawrence, so just down the road from you, in the Ingleside area. We've put together Wi-Fi for them, and we also do a Fringe Fest, a Glow Fair, Hope Volleyball, the Tulip Festival, sailing clubs and marinas, including actually the Craig K Marina. We help support things like the Relay for Life for cancer. We do some stuff for museums. We're actually at Bose for some of their events, and we provide internet at Mount Pakenham. And there's Maker Faire. I don't know much about Maker Faire myself. Michelle, do you remember Maker Faire?
It's the events that happen at Lansdowne Park. Some of these events.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we actually provide anybody who's in Lansdowne Park renting the Ag Hall. We actually provide the internet for that. We also do a lot of agricultural fairs and have been at the plowing match several times, helping out the plowing match, getting internet into the area. So we do stuff for those. One of Michelle's specialties is making sure that we get things like campgrounds done. So Moonlight Bay was one we recently did a lot of work on. Do you want to talk about that project a little bit, Michelle?
Moonlight Bay has been around for many years, and we actually turned around and did fiber to the trailer this year. So we tried that out, see how that works.
Yeah, and we're doing some wireless at McCurry's Beach and Silver Lake, and like lots of different places that need internet for tourism. So this is all part of our wireless internet service providers, and we also do fiber to the home in selected locations, mostly up around Clayton and Mississippi Mills area. We also have fiber for businesses, fiber networks. So in the VARS area, we actually fibered the business park, and so that allows for everybody in the business park to get high-speed internet. And we've also done communities. Well, like I said, the one up in Clayton, that's a community. We're looking at other areas where we might be able to bring a wireless in and drop it into a fiber, including actually Lancaster Heights is on our list of places to take a look at to see if we could actually fit a project in there. Voip, we do provide Voip, and we have, and I talked about smart farms earlier, and we also have digital subscriber lines for internet. Everybody wants to know how much it costs, so we put a costing slide together. The various packages that are available, it's up to you to choose what you want. And the data is unlimited on this tower. So we're actually putting together these different packages so people can buy what they need to do what they want. So those are the costs. So $75 to $130. Yes, I'm sure I got a hand up.
Yep, me.
Okay, there's two. Go ahead, Paul.
Okay, my question is, like, you show up to 3 megabits or 5 megabits, but the important one is the minimum speed. Is there a guaranteed minimum?
Chris, would you like to talk to that, or would it be Michelle?
Well, in general, when you get what you pay for, that's been Storm's mantra from day one. So if you're, up to, I mean, we're really talking, getting 80% of the numbers that are there. I mean, there's going to be a few pluses and minuses based on, what people are doing, because it is a shared service. Sometimes a little bit of the weather might play a role, but not that often. There could be a number of different factors. There are some environmental factors that are not weather related that have to do with a wireless signal as well. But in general, let's say you get a 50-10 service, you're going to get 8/40 type of thing, minimum type, that type of service.
Yep. The reason I'm asking that is there was a time where I bought, there was like a Ring doorbell where you can see the person from wherever you are.
Yep.
On the internet, and it would just freeze after 10 seconds because the upload speed, which I have was DSL, wasn't high enough. So when I called the company, they said, "Oh, you need a minimum of 1 megabits, preferably more." So
Yeah.
On a 50-10 service or a 25-5 service, you should never get down to 1 megabit. If you do get down to 1 megabit, then there's a bigger problem, and you would call in and we would look at why that's happening.
Okay.
Yeah, our reputation is made on delivering what we promise, and in fact, we measure the whole network 24/7. So when there is something that's an issue and it shows up on a list as being an issue, at, like, say 85% of the network bandwidth is starting to get used up, we start putting it on a list so we can actually figure out what's going on with that, and our team actually will put it on a list for an upgrade. And Chris and his team do approximately 100 upgrades a year in our network. At least for the last 2 years, we've had to do that. Chris, you want to talk to that at all, or?
No, it's upgrades of technology and bandwidth, so we can meet the capacity requirements, especially now during COVID.
Yep. Okay. So I think Remy has a hand up here.
Yes, I do. I'd like to know what you install at our residence, like a satellite dish, something inside, something outside.
It's a typical radio. It's like pizza box size radio on either a one leg mount, satellite mount basically, or a tripod or a tower. But yes, there's something that goes on your roof pointing to the node.
But what's inside the router?
Did that answer your question, Remy?
No, the router is a separate thing. So the radio on the throne, we call it a radio because it's talking to the base station on the tower. And then there's an Ethernet cable coming down to get PoE or power over Ethernet from inside your home. And then from there, you plug your router in. So we're giving you a WAN connection and you put it into your WAN port of your router, and then your home router comes into play.
And a WAN stands
Okay,
for
so-
Wide Area Network.
So we need to buy a router.
You have to, yes, correct.
Okay.
You have to have a router.
And Storm does
We-
have routers that we support that would be available as part of this.
Okay.
If you already have a
What
router,
about the voice?
go ahead.
What about voice over IP? How does that work? Or you need a special phone? Or?
It's another device called an ATA that plugs into your home router, and then your telephone line appears on that box. You plug your phones into that.
And preferably you put a small 400 or 500 watt UPS on it, so that even during power outages, you're able to phone everybody in the world.
So no special phones.
There's a box that you plug it into. So
No, your regular phones you use today, or if you have some, work on this. So they give you an analog port on this device, and that connects you to a phone line and gives you dial tone, and then you're using no special phone. No.
Okay, thanks. I'm
And
just
we
used
have-
to ADSL. That's why.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And we have Paul.
Yeah. Just a follow-up question on that. So you install the receiver or the antenna, and then there's an Ethernet cable going into the house, and then you have to have the router. Could you do the whole installation, including the router? You pay for it, or do you have to get that part yourself?
The sales cycle will ask you all those questions: what you have, what you need, and put it on the list, basically. Yes, we sell them all, and we're turnkey, so we can all be connected. We can connect your or give you an SSID that you want at the application stage, and we'll pre-configure all that when we arrive, and it's going to be up and running in the same day.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Just to follow up to the other question you had, Paul, which was bandwidth. We won't qualify somebody if the signals are too bad. And you want a 50-10, and we won't give you 50-10 if the signals are not adequate.
Yeah.
We use some thresholds that you might have to buy a 25.5, or you might have to do a 10.5 or a 10.3 or something. That'll be decided at the day of installation. If all goes well, you get what you asked for, but sometimes you have to take a gamble, basically.
Okay. You mentioned Lancaster Heights, which is quite a bit further away. Do you intend to serve them from the
well, we're
North
looking at it with a 200-foot tower. We have lots of real estate to put point-to-points, and we actually had a large tower built specifically with enough room and enough area to be able to put point-to-point antennas. So we do a point-to-point into Lancaster Heights. And we're looking at, in that particular case, because they have so many trees, we're looking at perhaps fibering the neighborhood, because we actually have the ability to do that kind of thing. So it would just depend if there's enough people in Lancaster Heights who, by the way, many of them have actually said, when will you come? So we already know that. So if we can build the business case, I'm certainly in for it. And I know that Chris and Michelle will do their part to put together an estimate for what it's going to cost and make sure we get the return we need to be able to make it possible.
That may be down the road, though, not right away.
Well, it won't be before Christmas.
Oh yeah.
It'll be next summer at the earliest.
Okay.
And it largely depends on the neighborhood getting together and deciding that they want to work together. So we need a place to put our antenna. And then then we would put things into a fiber.
Now, the closest place for me would be Glen Nevis. I don't know. I guess that would be part of your territory, right?
Don't know it by a name, sorry.
Okay. Well, it's a little village with the church, St. Margaret Catholic Church. There's quite a few people there. But okay.
Well, if there's enough people from there that want want this, and they're not within a 10-click radius, we are going to do point to point. We've looked at St. Raffles, we've looked at Lancaster Heights, so we know about both of those because they were brought to our attention. So we will certainly pay attention to it. We have another tower in Alexandria, and we could feed from either this tower or from the Alexandria tower.
Well, yeah, let's address Glen Nevis. So Glen Nevis is about 3.68 kilometers from the tower in North Lancaster. It's entirely possible that we could get service reach up in those areas. And certainly with 25.5. Again, it depends on trees and terrain. And once the tower is installed and it's fired up, we will be going out there and we will be commissioning the tower, and we will be doing a 360-degree survey on the roads to determine what the coverage is of the tower at that time. So Glen Nevis could very well be part of that North Lancaster deployment.
Well, that's good. I'm about half a kilometer from Glen Nevis.
Yeah. So Paul, what we'll do is we'll get your address. I'll write you. We'll get your address, and we'll put you on the list for places to go do a survey at.
Okay.
So at some point. So what's happening right now is they're finishing the last section. We have this tower's in 5 sections. Like I said, some assembly required, batteries not included. So they're assembling the last section tomorrow in theory, assuming the weather doesn't get too crazy. And then what can happen from there is we can get the crane in on Monday. So Monday and Tuesday, weather permitting, because apparently a 30-ton piece of steel swinging back and forth is not a fun thing to try and bolt down. So as a result, what they're doing is they're saying dependent on weather. But the 13th and 14th is the big lift. To drop the tower in place, bolt it down, drop the next section in place, bolt it down. There's 5 sections. Should be done by hopefully by noon on Tuesday. Then the tower dressing team is getting scheduled. Michelle, I think you've got people scheduled for the 15th and 16th.
They're going to be right behind when the tower's up. Yep.
Okay. And then we're looking at if we can get the signal. So we're looking at different ways to get us to start the tower off. And if we can get that, we could be starting to test the signal as early as the 16th or 17th. We'll see what we can do. If we can do that, some of the things we do will be from the people that are in the queue. We will actually go to the end of their driveway and check to see if we've got signal there. And if we do, then it's up for an install. And I'm sure that Michelle has those installers ready to go too. And Chris has the team that's going to do the signal propagation to make sure that everything's cool. So that's all there. If there's still some small roadblocks that could get in our way, but we are actually determined to start installs as soon as we can, and with our fingers crossed, December 20th through 24th, some people will get it for Christmas. So that's the answer to your questions, I think.
Okay.
If you go to storm.ca/north-lancaster, you can actually find a form there where you can actually indicate that what speed you want and what your exact address is, and that way our team can actually set up an appointment as we start the process of rolling out the customer end equipment.
Okay.
Okay, and that's it.
Thank you very much. It's good.
Any more questions from anybody?
The follow-up from here, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think as a closing comment on my part at least, a lot of the work that we do in the rural areas is of course done through word of mouth. So it's great that you guys came and if you can spread the word and sort of help explain sort of what we're trying to do. We're here to serve the community. Obviously, we have to also make money in the process, but our priority, and I know Birket's priority, has always been to serve the community that we work in. So, you know, if you guys can help spread the word, that's every bit counts.
Right.
Are you going to be able to contact us when you're ready? That's the other question.
If you filled in a form, you absolutely will be on the list.
So
And-
you go to your website and you fill out the form. Okay.
Yeah, North-Lancaster. That's the easiest way. It goes into a queue, and they execute the queue and see if you're going to be home on the day when you want it, and so on and so forth.
We plot all the applications on a Google Earth, and when we see the demand in certain areas, those are the areas we go first, and then continue from there. But then when there's like Lancaster Heights you mentioned, we could do a tower and start doing a wireless play until we can build a fiber or go to fiber builds, right? But and then your little area of just 5-6 homes, but they don't have line of sight, and one could be the host to do others. We call them mini nodes. And we do those once in a while, where there's more demand.
So one of my questions is, Michelle, would you like to bring up a map and share your map with people?
I cannot. I'm on my home computer. I don't have my maps here.
Okay, Chris, do you have a map around?
A map of what, Birket?
Well, just of the North Lancaster area, can you pop up a map so that you can show them how we've actually got a Google mashup, and we can when we go to look at a point-to-point area, we actually can see where the trees are and figure out heights and all kinds of things like that. I think that's pretty fascinating.
Well, if we, yeah. So,
Yeah, if you could do that, that'd be great. Since I don't have one handy, I'll stop sharing and let you be the presenter for 2 minutes.
Yeah. Just a second here.
Yeah, so it's our first real time doing a lot of work in South Glengarry. We actually had the marina. We have the marina as one of our customers now, and did bonded DSL for them. But I don't think we have very many other customers in South Glengarry, so we were happy to get the opportunity to do that.
Can you see the map?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
so I'm gonna use Glen Nevis as an example. So here's North Lancaster. So this is where our tower is located. Just label that. So, and for example, looking at Glen Nevis, which is up here. So we would be able to put a path between the tower and Glen Nevis, and then we would look at the elevation profile. And so what this is showing us is, as you pointed out, Glen Nevis is on a high ground. And in this area, there seems to be a valley, so there's probably a creek or something that's winding through there. And then here we have another ridge. And over here is where our tower is. Now, the difference in elevation between Glen Nevis at 77 meters and our tower, the base of our tower is at 62 meters, but our tower is 30, what is it? Sorry, I'll do the math.
60 meters.
Is it 60 meters?
Yeah,
roughly 60 meters.
I think 63 actually.
So we're actually at 100, the top of the tower where the distribution is actually at 120 meters of elevation. So if you see my hand based on this chart, we're way up here somewhere. So now if you can think of an imaginary line that brings you down to Glen Nevis, there should be a possibility of getting service. If you're down in the valley here, and you've got this big sort of ridge in the way, then you might need some additional tower height at your house in order to clear this structure. So it's things like that we look at when we're looking at what the coverage is. Obviously, out here in the open fields and so on, you know, the coverage for the tower is a lot it's a lot easier out here. You know, there'll be some challenging areas, but there'll be other areas that are very simple to service, and it'll all depend within that 5-kilometer radius. You know, what areas are simple to deal with, and some of them, you know, where we might need some additional height on the homeowner side. But a 200-foot tower propagates pretty well.
So that helps.
Yeah,
with
it
the
does. I
explanation?
mean, if we take that, yeah, perfect. So in the end, anyway, you need to do a site survey. So we'd have to come in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, so our objective is to get there as fast as we can. We're certainly going to make sure everybody gets informed, and we're certainly going to anybody who actually registers at storm.ca/North-Lancaster will be able to. We'll make sure that we get back to you and keep you updated on the project.
So what's the charge for the survey?
Michelle, maybe you can answer that question.
We used to do it for free, but we introduced $50, which is you get credited off your install. So it's a $50. If you don't go for it, then we move on. But if you go for it, then it's credited back.
Okay, that's fair.
We had to stop the tire kickers a few years back.
And then the other thing is on this particular tower build, if you sign a 2-year contract with us, your install is free.
It's fair.
So that's useful too. You know, our objective is to get some customers in the area and know that we're helping them out. So you know, we're going to focus on the people that really want to get connected, and we're going to focus on the people that want to stay for a while. Any other questions on that?
I think Remy has his hand up.
Oh, Remy, you got your hand up again. Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
I keep forgetting
yeah.
to look at the dash.
Oh, that's okay. I'm patient. Well, I wanted to thank you to
Okay.
come to North Lancaster because I was hoping for, you know, before you came in for SpaceX with their satellites, which costs like $600-700 for a dish or something. But I think that would be much better for me since I'm just 1 kilometer away. So I'm probably going to be one of your
Oh, yeah.
customers for sure.
Okay, that's super. That's super. And I know that once this gets going, you know, if there's a Facebook group or something we should belong to, if you send us a note, we'll be happy to make sure that that we join that group, because we have Mandy Tapp is actually the sales rep for the area, and she works with Jason Riddick, who's our manager of sales, residential sales, and the pair of them are really interested in helping expand the area, because it's a new area for us. You know, we've done stuff in back in North Dundas and even in Chrysler area, all kinds of areas like that. But this is a new opportunity for us, and we want to get a great reputation for doing a great job, both for the residential and the businesses. So I expect you'll see it at some point. They'll write up an article in the paper and it'll get there. I know we've kept the council informed, and 2 of them said tentatively they would come, but neither of them came. So we'll just see what happens. We just want to make sure you guys know the story, and we'll take any questions and comments that you have along the way. Just feel free to get hold of us.
For my part, I think presentation was awesome. Explains pretty much everything. Same thing. I was waiting for SpaceX to get something decent, and now you guys are offering something decent. So at a much cheaper price. So for sure, for me, it's a go. Whenever you guys are ready, already punch in all the information. So I'll be by the phone waiting.
Excellent. All right. Well, as the project evolves over the next week or so, we'll make sure you stay informed. and our team's working hard to get things completed and tested and up so that we can actually serve you as soon as possible. We are all about service for you guys.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, and thank you all for coming out. There was 15 people registered, so it was nice to see some people with some good questions. So thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello? Yeah, I think it'll be, I think you'll have a lot of customers because we only can deal with Bell around here. So we have such a bad service with them, turning off all the time, just calling them is such a pain. That will be easy, to beat them for sure.
Yep. Well,
Sounds good.
we're looking forward to serving you guys, and I'm sure we'll hold a barbecue or something at some point when next summer comes, and perhaps we can actually gather in groups of more than 10. So anyway, thanks everybody for taking a chunk of your evening.
Yeah, thanks very much
for the support. Appreciate it.
No problem.
And we'll keep these folks informed, and I look forward to getting that tower going.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Goodbye.
Night.
Good night.
Good night now. Bye now.